ship bells ring over the calm waves of Loamhaven docks. There, within the Fisker household, we see our ragtag group of would-be adventurers preparing for the first step of the rest of their lives. How do each of you prepare for the day, and what is your first stop?
I'll take a warm bath.
Probably gonna be a while until we can have one of those.
Are we
Not necessarily. We're all magic.
leaving today? Do you want to wait till
Well, we've got to...
our parents come home? Or?
We can wait. I mean, we've got to... We don't even know when... We don't know exactly if we're going to immediately get the Seeker's Edict.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got to get that first.
Yeah.
And they might give us some bullshit job to do before they want to give it to us. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, let's do that.
Take a bath, clean up, eat some fish,
Yeah?
fix my breath.
Munch, munch, munch.
As a person,
Wet fart into my mouth.
Oh. Can we get a clip of Matt saying wet fart into my mouth?
Oh, no.
As I see you, the player, McCall, sorting through your daily spells, what does this look like for a Rixovir, who doesn't, I think, have a full understanding of what exactly it is that they're capable of?
Rixavir having had that dream last night, I think wakes up and then is kind of in like a meditative state almost, as they are like trying to decipher what the dream meant and everything. Because to them, everything has meaning. Everything is somehow connected in like woven into fate and storylines and stuff like that. And so they're just probably in their own head, being very quiet, which is kind of odd for them. And I think that in my gloved hand, I'm like just fiddling with the 20-sided die. It has all twos on it.
Excellent. What about Saoirse? How do you prepare for the coming day?
Also take a bath, which doesn't start with hot water, but the water is hot
Yeah.
when I get in it. And then I think
Is that a fire genasi joke or a sexy lady joke?
that's a fire.
It's a 1-2 punch.
Both. And then I think I get dressed, but I button all the way up just in case this is like a formal event. I'll like do my hair with like the little metal clasps and pieces so that it's up and out of the way in case there's some sort of combat trial. I think I'm just there's like a 30-minute period of time where I'm just like in front of a mirror, like yeah, and just practicing like punches and battle poses in the mirror. What if they need like a license of some kind? Like just covering my bases, shirt and buttoned up, hair out of the way, and battle poses ready.
Excellent. Battle poses ready to go. What about Brothy?
start to pack up some of the dried fish and stuff like that. No, we're leaving soon, so taking some time to get ready for that.
Excellent. Yeah, you all pack up for what is potentially going to be a lengthy journey and set foot out the door back into Loamhaven, headed for the heart of the city towards the Seekers Guild. The city is bustling as ever, with foot traffic and carriages filling the streets of brick that have been long weathered smooth by centuries or perhaps even millennia of travelers traversing these streets. Stone buildings, perhaps immaculate in epochs past, are now reinforced with the stones of differing colors and textures. Though by no means shoddy, there's a clear difference in the craftsmanship of the modern sections in stark contrast to the elegant design and execution of the ancient ruins now restored. The Seekers Guild is one such building, perhaps a bank or vault in a previous life, now a proud structure on the corner of Parchment Avenue and Inkblot Road. White marble reinforced with obsidian stone, every inch of it from the row of thick pillars to the now slightly slanted cornice roof is polished to an almost mirror-like finish. Within the triangular face between the frieze and the sloping cornice is an ancient relief structure in the marble stone, pocked and cracked from ages without restoration, depicting 4 gods from the fables. Valthara, the wizened one with her long hair wrapping around her like robes. Thorunamor, the Thorn Father, with a long twig-field beard that covers most of his chest. What appears to be the midsection and down, a depiction of Kasovir, the trickster, and standing taller than each of the others, Rithmira, the Mother of Order, her hand outstretched where it would once rest on Kasovir's shoulder had the stone not been long lost to time. Stepping inside the structure, it's just as showy as the outside, if not more. Black and white polished marble decorate the space, floor and walls, even carved up into the countertops behind which several workers and clerks are there, having conversations with people who have stepped inside. And each of these sections has this beautiful inlay of pearl and turquoise that have been just kind of like crushed up and
It's very valuable.
lacquered into the building itself.
Magnus is wondering, based on this opulence, how corrupt this organization actually is.
Yeah. There are several clerks behind the counters. One of them who is available raises up a hand. Come forward, please, as you step up to a brown bear, Zoenveer.
I will introduce myself respectfully in the Zoenveer Furfolk language.
Ah. He responds, a pleasure to meet you. And then switches back to Common Noxian. May I ask what order of business it is that you have with the Seekers Guild this day?
We seek to acquire a Seeker's Edict.
Of course, all are welcome to attempt the trials to gain a Seeker's Edict, but I am required to warn you by law and morality that it is not for the faint of heart.
We're sturdy of heart,
Wonderful.
I think.
Are we familiar with like the trials at all?
You know that they are different for everyone.
Okay.
There's not like a set trial that you
Gotcha.
that you take on. Wonderful. Well, if you're all in agreement, I shall have you sign your signatures at the bottom of this parchment here. He sets it out and gives a little inkwell with a quill within it. Forgive me for not introducing myself. I am Guthvar. I shall be your representative here at the Seeker's Edict. Any questions, concerns, or comments that you may have about future potential endeavors, you can bring to me or address to me at this station.
So, to clarify, the requirement for the edict is just to pass the trial?
Well, yes, you must pass the trial. You must also, by the time of your return from your trial and completion of said trial, have solidified a name for your party as well. We can use a placeholder if you've already got something in mind here. And he motions just above where you've all, I assume, signed at this point.
Is there any description of the types of harms that may come to us?
Yes, it states, it's basically like a little contract that states at the top that you will be delving into dangerous lands. This contract isn't like specific for this trial. It is for the guild itself. It's like an application form, basically. And it details that while you may be asked to carry out certain tasks for the guild, you are always welcome to refuse, but that you must be aware that participation within the Seekers Guild can lead to harm, mutilation, or in some extreme cases, even death, and that the Seekers Guild is not responsible for any of these outcomes, nor will they be compensating any families for such outcomes.
I will look around as everybody else signs it, and I will slowly sign my name.
Wonderful. Do you have a placeholder name that I can put so that I can get this on file and we can pull you up easily upon your return?
Thought Brigade.
No.
No? I thought it was good. I am not good with names.
I wrote the Spark Claimers, but I also thought that something involving Bellwort would be funny.
Yeah, I thought that too.
The Bellworts.
I was like,
Nothing to do with your childhood on Ilvermere or what happened to you there?
I mean, you know, those ideas were rattling around, like Children of the Spark, but that seemed a little pretentious. Also, maybe it might have already been taken.
The Gloam Shore 4.
Is there a list of like names that have already been taken so we don't copy anyone?
Yes, once you provide us with a name, we will delineate that with other names that we have on file, and if there are any that cross over, then we will contact the younger group and they will have to reconsider.
We could just call ourselves the Best Seekers, and if no one else has taken it, then it'll just be ours.
I'm afraid you would be third in line for that title.
Wow.
What about like the Ember Flare Envoy or something?
That's pretty
Oh,
dope.
that's nice.
I say we put that as our placeholder.
Yeah.
Wonderful. He adds it down. Excellent. The Emberflare Envoy. Doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard put on file, so chances are good, but we will inform you upon your return, assuming you are successful. Now, that brings us to your trial. In order to obtain a Seeker's Edict, he goes through some paperwork. We've received some distressing messages detailing an uptick in vulgarity sightings during the recent unusual seismic activity in southwestern Lokvara. You are to travel to the Seekers Guild building in the city of Grunhelm to the southwest and return with news of the guild chapter's status or proof of its destruction, whatever you may find.
Can you show me on the map where he's talking about?
Yes.
What was the name of the city?
Tell me to give you
Grunhelm.
Sorry, just checking in. When he says vulgarities,
I think they're referring to any kind of like monsters when they say like monsters or demons. When they say vulgarities.
Yeah, they also refer to us as vulgarities, so.
Right.
just checking in.
But is this guy...
Oh, no. I would never refer to those of your ilk as vulgarities. That is exardescan propaganda at best. Vulgarities refer to the creatures of the night and darkness and evil that sprung up during the Ember Flare and attacked the cities. There are still incursions of some of these sorts of creatures from time to time. In Lokvara specifically, they are typically creatures that are tied somehow one way or another to flame and magma. But I'm aware that in other continents and countries it is a different story, depending on what may have happened. Are you all from Lokvara?
No.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, then I'm sure that you're aware of wherever you were during the Ember Flare, that it was different for all of us.
That's what I've read, yes.
I hereby grant you this temporary Seeker's Edict one time, and he presents you with this strange sort of stone, not tablet, but it's sort of a rectangular, faceted, gem-like shape, but it's quite elongated and
like
thin.
Like a bar?
Like a Zelda rupee if it was like stretched.
way out?
Like one of these?
Like a bar with little pointy bits in the end?
Yeah, for sake of ease, we'll say it's that sort of shape, but much longer.
Sure.
It's like a palm and a half,
And
basically.
And what is this?
This is our temporary...
This is your
Seeker's.
temporary Seeker's Edict. It is this sort of grayish black stone, but there appears to be a vein of some type of metal ore running through it that has a sort of copperish gold tinge to it.
And this specifically can only be used for the trial? We can't have a one-time use that we can do something else with? Okay. Just clarifying.
There are different stones are used for the different Seeker's Edicts. This one is designated as a single use, only in Lokvara.
I'm curious. You said that this uptick in activity was due to it was coinciding with seismic activity. Is that... It was my understanding that the seismic activity was happening near a certain dig site, but are you saying it's happening in other places around Lokvara?
Yes, about perhaps a fortnight ago, there was some seismic activity. I am told that I am not specifically familiar with any dig site that you speak of, but I know that there were ruins that were uncovered by the same activity, and around that same time, we've been getting an increased reports of vulgarities in our chapter in Grunhelm, and since the seismic activity, we've not heard back from them.
Gotcha. Because this, if you guys want to see the map for reference, It's pretty far away from the dig site, so I think that the blasting that they were doing at the dig site doesn't have anything to do with waking up.
Especially
weird
given that
stuff.
it was a fortnight ago as opposed to this dig, which started only this week.
Yeah, I'll say you have put together that like this is probably the same earthquake that uncovered
Right.
the space where the dig site is. So at the same time that that was uncovered, something happened to the southwest that they haven't heard back from their chapter there.
Gotcha.
For the trial, do y'all provide transportation or?
No.
Shit.
We'll talk to Homeboy about that.
I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm assuming that. What happens if we lose our edict?
If you lose it, then you will not have access to, rather, you will not have legal access to anything that you might find along your journey to keep.
So you want us to go and just maybe I missed this out of game, but he just wants us to go and investigate the
He wants
Bulgarian activity, or he wants us to go wipe out stuff? Or?
No. He wants you to go and visit the chapter of the Seekers Guild in Grunhelm, the city, and bring back proof of its either continued existence or its destruction. They have not received word from anyone there in a fortnight. He hasn't said if you're the first group that they've sent out to do this or not, but that is your
Why
quest.
mention it?
Exactly.
Have you sent anyone else to go investigate this before?
There have been 3 prospective groups looking for Seekers' edicts who have not returned. Now, whether they have attempted to abscond with their temporary edicts, or whether or not they fell in the field, is yet to be seen. But, as I said before, obtaining a Seeker's edict is not for the faint of heart.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we'll do our best.
I should hope so. And I wish you luck in your journeys, and prosperity upon your return.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks.
You're quite welcome. Next! See a group of like scraggly, what we as D&D players would know to be sort of like ash genasi kind of step up behind you. They've all got like wispy sort of smoke-like hair and gray ashen skin and just like stark white eyes.
I would not have been able to pull those words off. I would have called them ass Janashi.
Assy Janashi. Just checking in one more time again. And I know we're all kind of on the we got it kind of train. But they've sent 3 other groups
Right.
who have not yet returned.
Maybe they sent them yesterday. They're still on their way.
Yeah, we're lacking vital data.
She has a point, though. We should be ready to turn tail and run.
Sure. I mean, if we need to. But, look at it a different way. Maybe the 2 groups that they sent first softened up whatever we find, and it'll be way easier to deal with.
And the 3rd group?
Oh, we're not the... Oh, there was 3 other
No,
groups?
we're the
You're the 4th.
Oh, perfect. Lucky number 4.
4th time's
It'll
the
be
charm.
great.
Or, alternatively, those other 3 groups fed whatever it is, and now it's stronger.
Or maybe it's tired and needs a nap, since it just ate 3 big meals. And we can catch it while it's sleepy.
You're also aware, I would say, that these are 3 groups that were sent out over the last fortnight.
Right.
Over the last 2 weeks.
I assume it eats real slow. Also, we don't know how big the groups were. Maybe they were just like 2 people. And if so, we're like twice as good as them.
I have the confidence of a much stronger man.
She says, looking down a little bit at you.
Yeah.
God grant me the confidence of a white man.
Okay.
So we do this, then we come back, then we.
Yeah, so we do this, we come back, and then we can
Then we go.
Right.
Okay.
So I think based on how far away it is, we should get Thalos, to boat us down there. He's not doing anything, so it should be fine.
It'll probably
Didn't
be good
mention
for
it,
him.
But I assume he will want some kind of recompense for compensation for.
Oh, I'm sure. We'll give him a cut, right?
Do we assume that we're
Are
going
we
to be
getting
making
paid?
money on this? This really feels like a
Feels like
work for
a
hire thing.
errand, an internship, an apprenticeship.
We'll just grab anything that looks valuable that's not nailed down, and we'll sell it.
Can do.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't lose your temporary edict, that is well within your rights.
Just don't like steal candy from babies or anything, you know. Exercise your good judgment in our, what's the word I'm looking for here?
What if the
Pillaging.
baby has a really cool
Thank you.
If the baby has a really cool what?
like stick or like fidget spinner?
I don't think babies are supposed to have sticks, so that you could take.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're probably not supposed to have fidget spinners either, so you can probably take that too.
Or some kind of jug that squirts mayonnaise from
They-
its orifices.
Definitely shouldn't have that.
Oh,
was
don't
this?
say orifices in my head.
Sonder.
Oh, yeah.
My apologies. From its sphincters.
Stop.
Gross.
Given that its orifices can also emit beer, probably shouldn't be given to a baby.
All the more reason to take it from that baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Where's the baby? Are we going to fight it?
some stuff you can take from babies. Other stuff, if it looks baby appropriate, maybe leave it there.
You return to Talos and the now aged Tuatavine ship, and as you approach, you are surprised to hear the sound of hammering. And you see that aboard, Talos has begun making repairs to the ship, sprucing it up a little bit. Still looking, pretty rough. But the bones are good.
Ahoy!
Oh, hello. Welcome back, my friends.
That's what we say, right?
Totally.
I see that memory from last night was true. Are we setting out now? Has the time arrived?
Well, we have an errand to run first. Sort of a trial run, I guess.
Oh, your trial for the Seeker's Edict, I presume.
Yeah, I'll take out our temp pass.
Excellent. Please, come aboard.
Sweet.
How's it looking up here?
You see that there is what appears to be a pile of glass bottles that have been probably cleared out from the interior of the ship that are still just kind of clumped together, like off to the side up against one of the walls of the ship. But it looks like he's been, cleaning up and getting things ready.
I see all the glass, and then I see Saoirse, and then I think to ask, can you mold glass like people can mold clay and pottery and stuff with your hands, if you wanted to?
Let me think about that in my mind
Okay.
for just a moment.
Where I do most of my thinking. But not all of it.
I do almost all of my thinking inside.
I mean, I suppose it depends. Can I use the produce flame cantrip to make glass hot enough to?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I would think that you could, if you had access to a forge, though, you could melt the glass down.
Yeah. Can I touch it though? Can I...
No.
Yeah. No.
You'd be resistant to the damage you would take.
I mean, theoretically, but no, not with my hands.
I was just curious.
No.
I haven't ever done experiments.
I can only don't.
Well, that's why I'm asking instead. I figure you probably have tried stuff.
I can only get actually about as hot as like a warm bath.
Okay. Good to know.
So where are we headed?
Grunhelm.
Right stuff.
Oh, Grunhelm, to the southwest. It will be about 2 days' travel on the ship.
2 days.
Yes, well, you see,
For
we've
an
got to sail.
unpaid apprenticeship.
You see, we've got to sail out from the port and then loop around. As you'll notice, looking at our lovely little map, the port of Loamhaven is here, and you are headed down here. So you have to sail out and then around. Are you sure you want to take the whole ship for this? It's about the same amount of travel time as if you were to go on foot along the...
Well, if it's like the same, we can just walk it.
Well, I mean, are you familiar with the waters? Are there dangers there we should be aware of?
You know, it's, now that you bring it up, probably less dangerous by boat.
Let's just do both.
Yeah.
Right, you're already here.
We can work on it in our free time.
Yeah, we can help you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Well, how up to date are you on your sailing?
Not at all.
Never have.
I'm not going to say that
I don't know.
always stayed home.
Am I?
I would think that Brody is probably the most prepared to
Yeah.
be a person on a ship doing stuff.
I might be the least prepared.
But you,
I think you could
Oh, I doubt
be.
that.
You growing up with fishing parents, I think you'd be more prepared probably than Arik, who lived in the woods, and Saoirse, who isn't even from Ilvermere. Well, we'll get you into shape.
Happy to
And
learn.
he begins to run all of you through some sailing terms that I haven't done a lot of extensive research on recently, so I don't remember a lot of it. But
Yeah.
Mizzen masts and
he gets you to unfurl the sails, as well as, tie off and kick off from dock. He'll actually probably put you guys on oars at first to sort of row out into the bay before unfurling the sails and taking the wind to let it guide you around. In the 2 days that follow aboard the ship, which is actually well stocked, let's build the ship.
oh,
So I'm going to ask each of you to give me a room that is present below decks and a feature of the ship, whether that is cannons or, like the sails are painted a particular color or anything of that nature. We'll get 2 things from each of you, a room and a feature.
It's a big boat.
It is.
Bigger than I realized.
It's basically like a Viking longboat. So it's longer than it is wide, and it's got the sort of narwhal, but everything else is up to you guys.
I presume there's probably like a galley that's probably small because this is made for like 6 adventurers, right?
Yeah, tops.
So it's probably fairly small, dark wood, a porthole, and a feature.
Basically, this is your chance to add some stuff to the ship now that might be useful to you in the future.
should we paint a big crab hawk on the sail?
Did ships like this have cannons?
This one can.
It's got cannons.
Hell yeah. It's, again, a small ship, so it's got 4 cannons total, 2 on each side.
Nice.
Actually, I'll ask you, do you want 2 on each side, or would you rather have, like, 1 on each side and then a rear and a front? A forward and an aft? Or, if you wanted to downgrade to just 3 cannons, you could have 1 on either side and then 1 on a swivel on deck.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do we need a surgical room?
Have, like
A sick bay?
a medical...
Kit.
Maybe a first aid kit is all we need.
Hey, there we go.
Table for that.
We'll call it first aid kit, parentheses,
Rum and some bandages.
Yeah.
healer's kit. There it is.
Seems like a waste for a feature on the boat because that's just something we can go buy at the store.
Yeah.
So maybe a big table that can be used for gaming or eating.
Hell yeah, I like that. What shape is it?
Well, it's a long ship.
It's a long table.
So I think a long ellipse. You don't want a lot of sharp corners
Yeah.
in case things get.
I assume it'd be like bolted down to you, right?
For
Yeah.
sure. I'll put a long ellipse table for eating and making merry.
Mm-hmm.
Now give us a room.
I mean, do we have to specify that there's like
Second.
bedrooms? Second galley.
I mean, you could specify that you have individual bedrooms.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna
Okay.
take that bullet for the group. I sacrifice my cool room pick to give us all bedrooms.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Individual bedrooms. What else we got?
Fishing net.
Yeah. Fishing nets for the inky umbral seas. Do you have, like, is there a crow's nest? Is there a storage area down below? Maybe that's what makes more sense for this. Instead of just like trying to add a cool thing on top of what a ship would already have, we'll specify what this ship has. So it has a kitchen galley and it has individual bedrooms. What else would you like it to have? Because right now that's all it is.
Bathroom.
Oh, okay.
It's got a potty.
Bathroom, bathroom fishnets. We describing a boat or a date, am I right?
What happens in the bathroom on the date.
Whatever
take off the fishnets.
whatever both parties agree to.
I was like envisioning like bright yellow sails with some kind of a red emblem on it, but now I'm thinking like, oh, what if we did it like real stealth? Like the boat itself is this kind of murky black that looks like the Umbral Sea, and then the sails are like really light white blue to make it harder to spot.
Oh, that's fun. Camouflage. We'll call that your feature. And what type of room or place would you desire to still be? Since we stated that there's a long table, I've also added a common room.
Fair.
Common.
You need a storage room or like a lookout, like a crow's nest kind of a thing.
Oh. How to crow's nest.
Let's do that. Let's do a crow's
All right.
nest.
Because we can store stuff wherever.
In your bedrooms.
Yeah.
Or the common
Or the common room.
or the kitchen.
There you go. Excellent. So, setting out on your 2-day journey, the seas are calm. Calm and dark, as is per usual. The darkness is usual, the calmness not always. At night, looking out over the sea, the Umbral Sea, you can see there's this reflection of the Sparkwinds overhead that is almost perfectly mirrored in the inky blackness of the water, occasionally disturbed by these subtle glows from down below that you notice, that you know to be bioluminescent fish that exist within the Umbral Sea. And those are the lights that fisher people like the Fiskers will follow and lower their nets to catch for food, either on long journeys or to sell. During this long journey, is there anything in particular that you speak about with one another? Any preparations for what is to come? Any grievances that need to be aired?
Does anyone have any particular anxieties or things that are making them nervous that we can address?
All of them.
All of them?
Everyone.
Name one.
Death.
It's gonna happen eventually anyway.
Right.
Next.
Okay.
Anxiety handled. Give me another one.
Got you.
Pointless.
All right. I don't presume to know exactly what it is that your studies require, but I do have to ask if every single thing needs to be known.
I mean, not every single thing, but how are you to know that something shouldn't be known unless somebody knows that it shouldn't be known?
I mean, I'm still concerned about what we saw the other day and some kind of experiment to make things and people live forever.
That seemed to be the goal, or at least a goal along those lines. I'm not saying that every experiment or every avenue of research is moral or a good idea, but, you know, we shouldn't rule out all research or become suspicious of it just because of some bad actors.
But how do you know, how do you decide who gets to know what?
Well, I mean, if you approach it with good intentions and you approach your research and experimentation with solid foundation of ethics, then I feel like your results will tend to be better. If you are reckless or don't care about, you know, the subjects that are involved in your experimentation, then maybe research isn't the right thing for you anyway, because that sounds kind of evil.
Sure. And it's great that you feel that way, and I believe that you wouldn't do anything with your research to hurt people, but what about everyone? All over the place.
Sure, there's always going to be people doing terrible things constantly, but, you know, that's why we have to arm ourselves with knowledge the same way. Like, if we just sit around in ignorance while evil people gather up all of the technology and know-how, we're going to be at a severe disadvantage.
But what if something that we find, for example, for the Seekers Guild is used to hurt someone or a lot of people.
Well,
We don't know what all of this stuff does.
That's part of my job is to figure out what it does. If we find something and it's irredeemable, we can try to destroy it. Or we can hide it. We don't have to let things get into everyone's hands.
As this conversation continues, Xavier, make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh.
21.
Dang.
Nice. Excellent.
Does
Continue.
a 12 kiloton nuclear bomb materialize in your hand? I feel like your concerns are good to have. It shows that your thought process is in the right direction for the kind of tasks that we have before us. And, if you're uncomfortable with something that an item does or some form of knowledge, you should definitely express that. There might be some viewpoint that you have that we hadn't considered before. That's one of the reasons you're valuable to this expedition.
So what is it you're looking for, precisely?
Well, the next thing I'm looking for are the missing parts of the tablets I was studying when I was a kid.
Do you know what they were talking about so far?
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much all of the magic that I know came from those tablets. I uncovered it from those, so...
And there could be more just on Ilvermere?
I mean, there might be more all over. We don't know how widespread or common those tablets are. Out of game, like, were there any other tablets like that uncovered elsewhere?
Roll a d6,
3.
including the one that you brought from Ilvermere. You have only ever seen 3.
Have I gotten to examine them in detail?
You
Or
have. That's where a number of your
Some of my other spells
came from.
Okay.
But you're also aware that there are other academic institutions in other parts of the world on Nox that, similarly to Vendavir University, are not incredibly open to sharing all of their findings if they have not finished, researching them themselves.
Gotcha.
So there's definitely the possibility, but I think you're aware that with the highest probability somewhere else on Ilvermere is the continuation of the tablet that you specifically were studying. None of those 3 are made of the same type of metal, and yours that you were looking over specifically has an incomplete spell or incantation upon it. So there has to be a continuation of yours somewhere, and you know it came from Ilvermere.
So there are other tablets, and I've studied some of them, but I know for a fact that there is at least one more missing part to the ones that I was studying at a young age. And I'm almost positive that it's still on Ilvermere, possibly still in that museum. It might just be that, was it Corwin? Is that the guy's name?
I think it was Corbin with a B.
I think that he may not have known that he wasn't giving me the complete tablet when I was translating it. He might have purposely held it back for some reason.
Do you think he could read them?
He could read Noxian okay. He wasn't great at it. But it was the hand motions. It was the other coding on them that carried the other half of the spell that was needed. That's what a lot of the research that I did in magic helped to uncover. But anyway, so that's what I personally want to find on Ilvermere is that. But there's other, there were plenty of items of interest in the museum when we were there that are items that might contain power.
What if he's still there?
Brother, your mind goes back to that runic sword that was there.
I specifically have that in my notes from then.
Sorry, Saoirse had just mentioned, what if Corbin was still there?
Yeah, if he's still there, then maybe we can rescue him. If he's, I don't know how he's survived all this time, but if he has been maybe using the items at his disposal in the museum to protect himself or whatever, then I'm sure he would want to get off the island. Or if he's been corrupted somehow, then, we might have to deal with that.
Can people be corrupted?
I mean,
Magically.
Sure, just like with anything else. Sometimes it's just the power itself that can corrupt people, but you know, there are forms of evil that use magic. And we don't know what they all are yet.
That, the second part made it scarier. The
It's
second part of the thing that you said.
it's not for the faint of heart. Much like all of this. But
When Ilvermir was attacked, Talos speaks up. I imagine you're all having this conversation while you're like up on deck. He's at the helm, steering. The strange creatures that overtook the city, it was like they were made from the plants themselves. Trees moving and coming to life, angry for who knows why. I'm told on Lokvara that it was as if a wildfire suddenly gained sentience, and creatures that could create flame and were made of flame were the ones that attacked there, scorching not only forests but down to the stone itself. And you can still see a lot of the memory from the Ember Flare and scorch marks outside the city of Longhaven that still have not been cleaned or washed away. But I think what your friend here is saying is correct, that there are types of magics that no one understands, no one who is still alive at least. And thinking about how deep that goes rattles me.
yeah, I don't think any kind of knowledge is inherently good or evil. It's the
How it is
application of
used.
it.
Yes.
And these things, these mysteries that keep coming up, they're not, I mean, they were violent and it forced us from our home, but, you know, it might be something that we can come to understand and avoid in the future, or harness for the benefit of everyone. You know, we don't know unless we study it and find out. And that's why I want to go find out these things. That's why I want to learn more.
Well, first, I guess we'll all go catch fire.
Well, hopefully not actually get caught on fire.
Fingers crossed. And you all go off to bed for the first night and spend your second day continuing to travel over the waves until eventually land comes within sight yet again on the horizon. There's no docks. Grunhelm is not a port city. It's a little bit inland, actually. Talos kind of pulls the boat up to as close to shore as he can get it without running up into shallows and drops anchor. And I'm going to add 2 things to the boat because I didn't add anything.
Add something to the boat.
A dinghy?
I'm going to add storage rooms below to keep your things that you find on quests and adventures.
I do like places for things.
Yeah, and I'm also going to add
A
a
hurdy-gurdy.
dinghy.
Damn, a hurdy-gurdy would have been sick.
We can get a hurdy-gurdy.
It's on a pulley system. He lets you know that he's going to stay on the ship as you all climb in, and he lowers you down into the waves. And it's just a little bit of rowing before you are back on the shores of Lokvara. And it's just a short trek from here in the direction of Grunhelm. We'll say that Magnus, you had pre-purchased a map of Lokvara to help with, navigating and finding where it is that you need to go. That's how you know that you should basically head south inland for a couple of miles before you should
See Grunhelm.
within range of the city. Yes.
Let's go that way.
You begin setting off into the woods, and it's a very nice, actually sunny day, which is not incredibly common for Lokvara. It's usually kind of misty, rainy, and overcast. But the sun is out, birds are chirping, and you've got a little bit of a hike to go. Could I have all of you make a Constitution saving throws, difficulty of 10, to avoid exhaustion?
Oh boy.
Because this is not level ground. All of Lokvara is quite mountainous.
Sick.
That's a nat 20.
Ooh, revitalized.
I will allow you to give whoever, if anybody failed, I will allow Arixovir to give them advantage with your nat 20.
Hell yeah.
Well,
So
pretty
there's a
good.
couple of times you get a big creepy hand, like pulling up your elbow as you're falling into a hole. Oh.
Not any better.
And
8.
pushing you into another hole.
I fell in a hole. Oh no.
No, this-
So many holes.
you haven't taken any damage or like, busted a nose on a tree or anything like that. It's just been very grueling and very exhausting. And yeah, you take a level of exhaustion.
Fun. They're
Sometimes
new
you-
boots, and I know I shouldn't have got new boots right before new.
Yeah, why do
adventure,
they have
but-
a platform and a heel?
Also, like Cal Drunmore is, it's lots of hills and they have highlands, but it's mostly like hills and grass and fields. This is like there are some near vertical points that you guys have to get past, and it's all just rocky terrain, and it's wearing down on you a little bit.
Fun.
You alright?
This part I kind of like.
It's like the walking around part?
Yeah, this is kind of nice. Never been out here.
I have everybody make either perception or investigation check. Brody, you'll have disadvantage from your exhaustion. As you're starting to get within the area where you should be able to find some landmarks.
Only 12.
Okay.
I'm gonna look for like scorches, I guess. Like scorch marks.
Oh, okay.
I rolled an 11
Nice.
off of a 4.
18.
Saoirse, as you guys are kind of stopping and taking a breather, Brody is sweating profusely, but taking a breather, drinking some water. Just everybody's like taking a rest before the next leg of the hike. You go off to what would you leave the group to do? Like refill your water skin, relieve yourself.
Wait, we
No.
haven't pooped this whole
Do you,
time.
do you just need a moment alone?
No, Saoirse never needs a moment alone. I think that the only reason Saoirse would wander off would be to check the area immediately around them.
Okay, yeah. So you're
Make
like
sure
doing a
there's no
perimeter.
like predators or sneaky little horrible things, etc.
Keeping an eye out for any like scorch marks on the ground or on the trees. You're investigating the space as you look around, and something catches your eye that seems odd. There's what appears to be a tent, or half of a tent. There's this sort of like cliff ridge or ravine that you kind of approach the edge of, and looking down, you see a number of like fallen trees at the bottom, and there's that half a tent that's set up and just kind of dangling over the edge of the cliffside. Make another investigation check.
I bet there was like a seismic event that caused
13?
the cliff to fall.
There's also what appears to be just like maybe a quarter of a campfire set up on the ledge. And I would say that you, as Matt was pondering, you get the sense that maybe there was some sort of seismic event here that caused whatever this camp was to shift. Pushing through the brush in the area, because it's like this small clearing on the cliff's edge, you come across what looks to be about half from the waist up of what was once a human man who is laying arms out. There's a bit of a stench, and the flies are definitely buzzing. Right at the waist, the body ends, and the cliff face is there. And that instantly makes you think,
It's like perfect.
yeah, that instantly makes you think, okay, what seismic event makes this happen? It looks like the body's been here for quite some time. Maybe like 4 or 5 days at most. Or at least, I should say.
I'm gonna breathe. And I think I'll take like, if I happen to have spare like rope or anything, I'm gonna go ahead and tie little bits to tree branches as I like retrace my way back.
Yeah, you didn't get super far from the group. It's like maybe a 3-minute walk back to where they are. You all see Saoirse kind of pushes through the brush with a haunted look.
Found something bad.
You okay?
No.
Are you hurt?
Nope. Not physically. There's something you guys should definitely see over here. I don't
Sure.
really know how to explain it myself. And I'm going to very stiffly turn back around and lead the way, like almost toy soldier. Like,
Yeah, very like rigid walk through.
everything is fine.
Saoirse leads you through the brush, and you come across this strange half campsite with the half person there as well.
What's over the edge?
Looking down over the edge,
Careful.
you look down, make a perception check with disadvantage.
Yay.
I'm going to be holding the back of his shirt.
5.
You see like mostly treetops, but there does appear to be a lot of like broken tree bits as well, like wood is kind of like jutting out from portions. I'll say also on a 5, you notice that there's like basically a trail of blood down the cliffside from the body as well.
I'm gonna look around for any birds or animals.
Yeah, make a perception check.
That is a smart move.
Oh.
Oh no. That's only a 7.
It's almost eerie to you, Audric, that there's no longer the chirping of birds. And there hasn't been for a moment now. There aren't any animals in the immediate area.
What happened here?
Um,
Can we check the body for any identification?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
so this is
17.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Tucked into the belt is what remains, about half of a temporary seeker's edict.
Well, I think this was one of the other parties they sent,
Yep.
which means I think we might be in danger here.
So this is something I know out of game, but I probably wouldn't know in game necessarily. But whenever, I don't know, I can maybe roll for it, but I know that whenever all of the animals go silent, it's usually because there's a predator in the area.
I'd say that Magnus would be aware of that, yeah, as a scholar.
I will point that out.
So we should go? I'm whispering.
How aware am I of everything on this card?
Brody is probably not like mentally aware of it as written,
Okay.
but he's aware that there's something there.
Yeah, noted. I won't do anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you want to use it, go for it.
What do I see? No, I'll wait.
Okay.
So we should go?
Are there any other bodies?
No, it's just the one.
Did you already take that half Seeker's Edict?
I'll hand it to you, I think.
I'll take it for now. We can give it back to them for identification.
Where on your map does it say the town should be?
I'll pull out the map and figure out based on how far we've walked.
This would probably also be investigation. Or no, so this would be survival.
17.
Yeah, there's a bit of a like slope up in elevation to the south, and you're pretty sure that it's just over that ridge. You should be able to get line of sight.
I think as soon as we get over that ridge, we should be able to see the city.
All right, I say we start heading that direction as quickly as possible.
Gonna look in the tent to see if there's any useful items or anything.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
You gonna make us roll for things? God.
7.
It's empty. There's like half a bedroll.
Disadvantage sucks.
Yeah. Is this stuff, does any of it look jagged, or is it just straight?
It's
Sliced.
a little jagged, but it's like weirdly clean.
I'm not a volcano expert or nothing, but I don't think seismic activity does that.
Well, like, I could see all of this, and I'm talking much quieter in game.
Yeah.
I can see most of this being caused by a landslide, but then I point to the body being cut in half, but not that.
Right? Because
Something.
normally it would just slide down
Right.
with the bottom half
Right.
together.
Do you think a very large sword cut through this campsite?
I mean, I'm not saying that didn't happen.
I don't think I could make myself that big.
Why don't we leave and we can
Not
talk
enough
about
blood
it?
in this body.
God.
I'm gonna move quietly.
Yeah, everybody make a stealth check.
I think, do we have disadvantage?
Can I-
I think we do.
Can I
You're wearing
help
heavy armor.
Brody
I have chainmail.
somehow?
If you want to impose disadvantage on yourself, you could give Brody a straight roll. But that would kind of put you in the same position.
Yeah.
He pushed his hand off of you.
14.
Wait, are you rolling with disadvantage for some reason?
Yeah,
Chainmail.
I have chainmail.
Oh.
10.
Excellent.
15. Feeling a little nervous, I'm going to quietly cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Quietly, you crouch down and round a rocky ridge and looking down over the land. Now a much higher view of the landscape around you. You see beautiful green trees that speckle the landscape. There's also even a road that you can see just a little bit down from you that you could take that heads off in the direction. And looking up where the city of Grunhelm should be, there is a crater. I need everyone to make a...
12.
That's another nat 20.
Oh shit! Holy shit.
4.
22.
Wonderful.
I think we can go back to the boat because the Seeker's Edict was in the city. And the city is a big crater. So.
Gotta get proof.
How do we get proof?
Well,
Oh shit, those aren't. I mean, we can bring back the half of the other one and be like, is this good enough?
As you guys are kind of having this conversation, you notice Eric Sauvier is staring at the crater.
Are you okay, Eric's?
You say there should be a city here, yes?
Uh-huh.
And there's just a crater?
Uh-huh.
Do you see the smaller craters that are leading towards us?
Uh-uh.
That looks like the mountain just got up and walked away?
Uh-uh.
Excuse me?
And that's what we're gonna end this episode of the Sparkwind Chronicles.
What do you mean it got up?